it has been 165 years since the first British Open, 89 years since the first Masters, and 5 days since the famously drunk Waste Management tournament decided to stop selling alcohol. So all of that leads to today, which is now, which is this. And what is that?
How We Live podcast, Pete, where we'll talk about all things LIV Golf, obviously related events within golf as a whole, other tours, players, teams, statistics, and follow the general league as it progresses throughout the 2024 season. My name is Colby Yeaton, joined by my co-host Pete McCoubrey. Very excited to get this episode going. Just reactions generally from the Las Vegas tournament. We'll start it off with our tee off section of the podcast. Pete, we're going to kick it over to you to tee it off. How would you like to tee it off?
I'd like to say this. Do you know how when you and I are playing golf, sometimes as the Wakefield and Saratoga boys, and like the first 4 or 5 holes, you're just not playing that well, and then you start drinking, having a little bit more fun, and then all of a sudden you start playing the best golf of your life? That's how I feel episode 3 of this podcast is going. I feel like we've eliminated the opening hole jitters, and now we're just like full steam ahead.
Full steam ahead.
I also want to say that's like a pretty good way of me explaining that I don't really know how we're going to tee it off. So I'm going to kick it back to you, scramble style. You're up next.
Nice. Well, to tee it off, I think obviously coming off this weekend tournament in Las Vegas, coinciding with the Super Bowl. We'll talk about the Super Bowl in just a second because I think Pete is really bursting at the seams to discuss it. You have the Super Bowl going on, various other events, tons of people in town, being able to seamlessly run this event, varying conditions. Awesome to see Dustin Johnson pull out the W for the 4 aces. How fitting in Vegas. So the script writers for LIV Golf are doing a good job, kind of making everything go back to back. But yeah, I think, and also kind of catering alongside the Waste Management Open in Phoenix, which I'm a huge fan of. One of my favorite events on the PGA Tour. Seemed to have been the favorite of a lot of other people out there during the weekend. A lot of news covering that.
I think I may have said this last week on the podcast. If not, I'm definitely thinking of it. The Super Bowl and the LIV tournament in Waste Management. 2 events happening in Vegas, and one of them happening in Phoenix, which we've both been to. We know there's like a city that loves drinking. They proved that this weekend. I thought somebody was going to die. Like, I thought the news story of this week was going to be something awful, and it turns out it's just some golfers got their feelings hurt.
I think everybody's kind of reacting to this, like the various handles on Instagram, to get the insider ideas. You had a couple buddies of yours that were there, right?
Yeah, I had two good friends of mine that were there, and they said it was maybe even worse than what we're hearing on social media. They said everybody, all the fans there were the most aggressive people they ever met, and the whole place was covered in mud. It was just like a total shit show, start to finish. And I think that's good for golf. That's fun.
I mean, that kind of. I mean, you had a lot of players' reactions to some serious stuff that they were frustrated with out there, but it was also kind of interesting because, like, once you think about it, like, everybody's there obviously because of the reputation of the tournament. They're also coinciding with probably like a huge Super Bowl party come Sunday, and maybe they're tuning into the LIV Golf event as well. So it's like the same personalities are kind of coinciding in one significant weekend. But yeah, that was that was great. What was your general impression of the actual Super Bowl itself? There was a lot of stuff going on throughout that game, all the way to the end.
Yeah, I liked it and I didn't, because what I did was I put some money on the Chiefs, knowing that would make me furious if they won. But I'd also like to wake up to them winning some money, which they did. So,
not a Chiefs guy.
Not a big Chiefs guy, no. I can do it.
Being a Pats guy and being like a child of a significant dynasty within football. I think you'd appreciate like an emergent dynasty within the game.
No, not at all.
Okay, got it.
Makes me curious, but I can sleep at night because Tom Brady has 7 of those things, so Patrick Mahomes needs to win 4. But even if he does win that, one of them he has to then beat a guy who no longer plays, which you can't do. So
Got it. Yeah, that
Tom
makes
Brady's
sense.
legacy is secure, and that's obviously what's most important to me.
All right, going off of Tom Brady and back to the Super Bowl reaction. What do you think?
I hated it. I didn't really enjoy any of that game. I think everybody that was with me, unfortunately, knows that. So I regret it. But
It
you know,
had
that's
a lull start. Started in a significant lull, if you will. Like, okay, this is nope, it's boring again. And then boom, like halftime comes, things start to shake out a little bit. Couple more field goals, couple more penalties here and there. But then the playoff overtime situation as well kind of caught not me by surprise. Mostly, I was surprised by the reaction on Monday,
yes.
knowing that A, the rule had changed. I didn't know the rule had changed. B, the fact that one team didn't know it changed and the other team did.
I think
But
that's the funniest part of the Super Bowl is that you said you didn't know. I knew that. I famously have never been invited to play in the NFL as much as I'd like to be, but the fact that the players didn't know the rules that's hilarious.
I
That's like
don't,
something
I,
you'd want to
yeah,
go over just at any level. You have kids. Some of them are starting to play sports. I imagine they like kind of have like a baseline level with what the rules are.
yeah, like right now, I mean, my kids are at the age of like at least getting to understand what inbounds versus out of bounds is. And the
Right.
way that the coaches coach towards the rules of hey, these are the rules of overtime in the Super Bowl versus, hey, we're just gonna don't worry about it. We're gonna go ahead and accept the ball off the coin toss, and we're gonna figure it out from there.
Yeah. So I mean, and I kind of respect that. Good for them. They didn't know the rules. They kind of freestyled it, which is a segue we didn't plan on. But it seems like
Yeah,
some of the golfers at Waste Management also didn't know the rules. It was just going to be the people that drank a ton and started heckling them.
yeah. For the listeners out there, I'm sure everybody's caught up by now. But if you have not caught up on this, please do some digging, and you'll see some outlandish scenes. I'm pretty proud of everybody out there. You know, everyone went out there for a good time. A lot of people had too much of a good time, but at the same time, everybody had a time.
Yeah.
So,
They, well, we'll get to this when we get to Mulligan of the Week. But if anything else you want to kick off with before I
no, please, let's get right into the mulligan of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the mulligan of the week.
Mulligan of the Week is the Waste Management in Phoenix deciding to stop serving alcohol. And my friend that was there said that by the time that news got to them, there were still like long lines of people trying to drink. And so my friend Allison, maybe she can, you know, hopefully she subscribes to this. She's a big part of it. She said that she was the next in line when they cut it off. So a guy in front of her got a Miller Lite, which she said was then probably worth like $10,000. Like the guy that got the last beer was like the luckiest guy in the world.
He gave it to her.
No, which good for
Oh,
him.
he didn't give it to her.
No,
I just assumed as much. I'm like, yeah, I was about to go into a rant about why that would never have happened to us, but apparently never to your friend either. So we're
yeah,
in the same boat. Yeah,
yeah.
it's a tough scene. Kind of
I think, but that was Saturday. They did that Saturday, and then they still had a full day of play, and I'm wondering like what that was like.
I think Saturday's the day to go to that tournament if you're going to go in person. Like as far, I mean, like you think about it, everybody has to work Friday generally. Hopefully Saturday you have the day off. Sunday you can recover and probably watch the Super Bowl. So I'm sure it was probably even more so that day, and everyone was just looking to like, hey, we're going to have a banger this weekend. And sure enough, they succeeded. But yeah, tough cutoff. Maybe just I don't know, hand out little rip and peel cards. So like every time someone wants to order a beer, they give them a card. Once you get to 27, your card's done, bud.
Yeah, Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like the punch cards. It's a
yeah,
reverse punch card situation. It's
it's
like
a
instead
reverse punch
of
card. Yeah, I
buy
think.
get one free, you just get cut off.
Yeah, after 27. My mulligan of the week, going back to the Vegas tournament, was after round one. Harold Varner III is on the leaderboard with -7, and then the very next day goes +4, and then the last day he did an even round. Um, I know that the conditions of the tournament kind of escalated from there. I like Harold Varner in general, but at the same time, kind of rooting for him a little bit after round one. I think what happened was, which would make sense if I were him, is that probably the wins of day one round took him off, and he was captured by Las Vegas, perhaps, because the next day to go from a -7 to a +4 is a tough go around. Granted, he just had bogeys. I would have been thrilled if I had just +4 after that. But at the same time, it's it's apparent. And then to go even round three, just trying to bounce back a little bit. Maybe he took one of those ice baths, kind of recovered a little bit, got a massage at the hotel, and just said, I got to clean it up a little bit. But yeah,
Yeah,
tough round.
I think like the venue when it comes to Las Vegas is just as important as the course. It's like that's gonna get a lot of guys.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah,
been there.
a lot of those guys. Plus, there's so much going on. It's not like you're a team. I feel like say you're an NFL team. They park those guys 70 miles outside of the strip, where they're going to be staying. So like, there's no chance. Meanwhile, Varner's probably staying at the hotel where the course is. So
Yeah,
he's like,
he's at Wet Republic getting a bad case of the bouncing leg.
yeah, exactly. So, but I mean, it was another mulligan of the week was also the fact that you had the WM going on, you had the Las Vegas LIV going on, and you had the Super Bowl going on. So for me, as a recreational golf viewer, it was difficult to keep everything in check as far as viewership, and then also to keep my household intact. Because you
Yeah,
can only do so much viewership and maintain a weekend type environment in your house, especially when it's Super Bowl weekend. Just it's tough. It's tough scene.
I think that the logic makes sense for LIV. Like you have there's a lot of eyes on the TV this weekend. It just feels like maybe the smarter move would have been to do this next weekend when because now we're about to approach without
A
golf
lull.
there's
A
nothing going.
lull.
Yeah,
So the other thing, I mean, yeah, there's 3 weeks between now and the next live event. But also they did adjust a little bit. I mean, they started the tournament on a Thursday and then went Thursday, Friday, Saturday, knowing as much was going on. And I think that, yeah, it would be interesting to kind of check the ratings, see what actually happened. But, general conditions, the day three of that tournament was pretty tough too in Vegas. The wind, I guess, was whipping around and these guys were having a hard time. A lot of the scores went up significantly on the last day. So,
yeah. Golfers
yeah.
are just like us. You give them that's and you and I have maybe experienced this. 3 nights in Vegas. That's too many nights by 3, probably. I'd say it's like you just
Yeah.
can't. You gotta be in and out of that place.
Yeah, it'd be a hefty one for sure. I think, yeah. So little feedback to live. Why don't you go ahead and just push this one out a weekend and let everybody have the Super Bowl kind of to themselves? Like we get it.
Yeah,
WM, that you got enough to worry about. You'll figure it out though.
yeah. You
It's gonna
guys.
be great.
I'm interested in what they do because like that is one of the most famous tournaments outside of. I mean, maybe I'm wrong about this, but outside of like the Masters and some of the majors, it's waste management is one of the most famous non-major events. And if they take away the thing that makes it so famous, I don't think anyone's going to care that they're playing like a recycling company's regular season event.
Yeah, I mean, people go there for the party aspect, and they definitely went there for the party aspect, and it seems like they got the party aspect, and if they remove that. I think they're obviously like marketing towards a different demographic than your typical, which I think it also like the environment made that tournament famous. Yeah, it's a great tournament and a ridiculous grounds and all that other stuff, but people tune in, people go, and they wake up at God knows what time to rush the 16th green up in the bleachers there, like in sprint, like they want to go see a hole in one so that they can literally crush a beer and throw it out on the green. That's what they're doing that for. That's the only thing that they're doing that for.
Yeah.
So
you take away alcohol, it's just another PGA event that nobody cares about.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's why you have guys, falling asleep, and the cops got to come down and wake him up out of the bleachers. Like, no, yes, he's hammered outside of his mind, but at the same time, too, he's also kind of tired. He woke up early. He sprinted across to get that spot.
Everybody did what they signed up to do. The golfers played golf, and the people that were there, they signed up to go to Vegas, go to Phoenix and get drunk out of their minds.
And now, a moment for our sponsor. A Wink or a Nod Marketing is a new boutique marketing agency specifically designed for small businesses. If you are too busy or simply just don't know how to run social media, build a brand plan, or write copy, go to winkoranod.com. Life goal: do not get arrested while drunk and asleep wearing a cape as your superpower. Anyways, continuing on, let's get to our approach, which is the section of the podcast where we talk about team news, going into kind of the team winner of the tournament, and just kind of interesting news behind that. Pete, what team news do you have on your end?
I would say that it has to be the four aces, right?
Yes, but what about them?
That's this is a classic weekend for them to win. And another guy, I feel like we talked about this last week. You have Dustin Johnson. He's the captain of that team.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you have John Rahm as Legion 13, who won the previous tournament. And it really helps, and I can very much relate to this. It really helps to have at least one guy who's just amazing at golf, and then can kind of just carry the rest of the squad. Which I think is such a fun element about LIV. That the team styles, you just need one guy, and then the other guys can just hope for the best.
Keep crushing. So the interesting thing is the four aces did not win, but they came in second. But the Smash GC, your favorite team, led by Brooks Koepka, came in first. Still podium. Obviously, four aces, you get your guy in the leaderboard, you're going to get podium, which is a good thing. You're going to want to carry that one in.
Smash GC, Brooks Koepka, that's that's another classic Vegas guy.
Coming to Smash. I mean, I'll do Taylor Gooch. Came in second behind Dustin Johnson too in the thing. So pulling through, but a lot of those guys played pretty well even in the last round. But if you played well in the last round while everybody was dogging it, then you're gonna be just fine.
I've looked at the notes. I want to tee you up for this. The team name, I think that's the team name. I hope that it is, but I absolutely love it. Can you talk about the Range Goats?
Yeah.
No,
what about the Range?
No, you tell me.
Bubba Watson's team. And where they finished up? Bubba?
Yeah.
So Peter Gulen finished third. In the teams, the Range Goats finished third with a -24, just 2 strokes back from the four aces. So it was a tight team smash, but then the smash had a team combined total of -33, which the four aces came up short at a -26. So pretty significant differential there. It's just that's when all four guys are killing it. To put it in perspective, the McCoubrey tournament the week before, John Rahm's team, the Legion 13 won, they had a -24 as a team throughout the tournament. These guys had a -33, which is pretty significant. It's a good thing to kind of put it in perspective amongst different courses and as the teams go.
We've played scrambles where I think the winning score in ranked just one day is -2. So minus 30 something is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean the way these guys are playing. I mean, if everybody's kind of cranking it, I would say at least by round 2, obviously round 3, there's a significant chance. If you have, it counts the first 2 rounds for the best 3 scores out of a 4-man team count, and then day 3, all the scores count. So if you have one guy kind of dogging it, it can bring you down. Granted, when you have everybody kicking it, then you're up by 7 strokes, so you're doing just fine. But something interesting when I was looking into this, having not known about the Smash GC in the 2023 season, Taylor Gooch was actually traded from the Range Goats, the guy Bubba Watson over there, for Matthew Wolff, who Gooch actually tied second, and Wolff finished tied third in Las Vegas. But this trade, reportedly, Brooks Koepka said that Wolff had quote unquote given up on the team last year and was looking for a trade for him. Signs Taylor Gooch. Gooch wins the 2023 individual championship, and then comes in second in this tournament. So pretty good trade, I'd say. That's where the team aspect fit in. He said, look, guy's dogging. I want your guy. My guy will be good for you. But, they're still neck and neck players. I mean, Wolff finished 4th in Vegas, where Gooch finished 2nd. So, pretty impressive. Excuse me, tied. He tied third. Excuse me.
That's
so
the definition
1 stroke behind.
A win-win trade, which I
everybody
love.
wins. Everybody wins.
Yeah.
But it's kind of interesting to see Brooks as the team captain. I feel like he's like a no nonsense guy. It's like, look, if you're here, you're here to play. You're here to win. So, and if you're not, then it just seems like you're quote unquote giving up.
Yeah, you're on the training block, which is amazing in golf.
Amazing.
Actually, let me ask you this: if we were to do the Wakefield Saratoga teams, who would you trade?
Ooh, that's a good question.
You got to take into consideration team building and skill level.
Now, none of the listeners are going to know this, but who's on my team again officially? It's me, Rob, Jake, Larry. Would we count Larry in?
We're going to count Larry, yeah.
I would trade Larry. No offense, Larry. I know you're listening in and you're probably shutting down right now, but the level of inconsistency is just a little too much.
Yeah.
Granted, you are in the armed services, and I appreciate your service, but continue serving.
I do and I don't. I mean, yeah, I'd say
probably playing golf right now. He's stationed out in Honolulu. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I'd also trade Larry.
Yeah.
I wouldn't accept it, but I think that's the way there.
I'm interested to hear who you would trade.
Probably myself. I just seem to get along with the Saratoga guys a little bit better, and you guys been on a winning streak, so that seems like a me for Larry swap would be a good one.
I know. I'm kind of interested to see when the dates for that actually pull in for this year. This feels like we're kind of going into the 19th hole section of the podcast where Pete and I talk personal golf, journeys, trips, extravaganzas, and hopefully upcoming filming events. So stay tuned. But yeah, I will be surprised if not by the end of February. We should wager on this when we start getting texts about it, if not one of us initiates it. All right, here's the rules. I say that before the end of March, I wager that we will start hearing about this. Should we put money down on it?
Yeah, I think that's a fair bet. I mean, I'm certainly not gonna. That's one of my.
Is that late for you?
I don't have to plan anything.
Well, would you say it would be earlier? Any day now, we're going to start getting these things. But I'm also going to Florida in a few days too. So, and I'm not bringing golf stuff. It's a family trip. It's a family trip. Going down.
That seems like all the more reason to escape to play golf for 4 hours, though.
No, it would be fun. It'd be fun, but we also are going down with our kids, which also, and it's not because we don't want to go golfing either with our kids or without our kids, but it's just the amount of travel stuff from the Northeast to get down there, and the baggage. You only so many bags. You could ship them down there. I guess that would be one option. I haven't even looked into that.
It's gonna be expensive.
We're there for a week, and then we probably wouldn't be able to actually realistically get that many rounds in. It's a family trip. It'll be fun. It'll be a good time. I'm accepting it.
The next episode we film is you're going to be live from Florida?
We'll be live from Florida. Yeah, exactly. So we get on the putting green a lot. down there. Doing a lot of putts in the backyard and hanging out poolside. I'm very excited for it. Should be very relaxing time. What about you, Pete? What's going on in your golf world? You've been to that Top Golf out there in Boston, right?
I've been to Top Golf. I went to a simulator this past weekend. We played Pebble Beach. It
How'd
was
that go?
myself and a childhood
Sim
buddy and my girlfriend, and we had to just stop playing 5 holes in.
at Pebble Beach. Yeah, you migrated somewhere more inland.
We just played like a video game style when you have to hit as many junkyard cars as possible. It's not. I thought I was ready for Pebble Beach. I'm probably like 2, 3, 4, or 5 years away from that, I'd say.
In a simulator dating environment, I think you did the right thing there. I think
Yeah.
you did the right thing. Speaking of
Here's
which, subscribers and listeners, Valentine's Day is coming up, so be sure get your loved one something nice.
Yeah, get your loved one a trip to a simulator. Here's my this will be my closing thought. My thoughts on a simulator, which I found was not fair. If you hit one a million miles an hour, but like low to the ground, if you're playing real golf, that's gonna slide through some of that rough stuff. 50, 60 yards in front of the hole. And the simulator just stops.
Well,
And
when
you
you're
have to,
paying Pebble Beach or you're trying to knock it off a junkyard car out in the middle of the driving range,
yeah, the
sure.
giant is great. That takes like a favorable bounce. It's like cart path only the whole time. But playing
It's
Pebble
true.
Beach is a different story.
The I mean, most of the simulators have gotten pretty good now, but also it's like the scariest moment you should ever have is when you're like, I am getting really good at simulator golf.
Yeah.
That should be the scariest part of your game, because as soon as you step outside, you've entered from the virtual world to the real world, and it will kick you right in the nuts every single time. Like,
Yeah.
I got this, crack, slice, dead right.
But and that's important. So, like people need to realize that, I think.
Yeah. So be careful out there when you're playing simulator golf. Well, I think that really kind of concludes this episode of How We Live. I want to thank my co-host, Pete McCoubrey, for taking the time out of his day, really turning on the lights in his apartment and showing us clean background.
Yeah.
But thanks again, Pete, for making the time.
I was thinking in post you could put like maybe Pebble Beach behind me.
I think I'm gonna get you some wall art soon. All right. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and just share it with your friends.
Yeah.
Have a great night.
Have a good night.